edition of the Cultural Connections podcast, the 2020 election. Join us this evening as we digest the election results, analyze the data, and make some bold predictions. This is the Cultural Connections podcast, 2020 election edition.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Ives, and I am the producer of the Cultural Connections podcast. And this is a 2020 election update. We are coming back on here live to bring you up-to-date information on what is happening with this 2020 election. It's been a roller coaster of a ride, that's for sure, since Tuesday night. And we wanted to bring you up to speed. As a reminder, we are broadcasting live here on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. I want to just lay out an understanding here before I jump to our results and everything and what we know so far. I want to just explain how our live is working right now. For our viewers that are watching this through Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and for Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, you are watching this live via Zoom. Therefore, unfortunately, I do not have access to seeing your comments and feedback as often as frequently. Whereas Instagram right now, I do have that ability and I am able to watch you live. If you tune in via Instagram, I am able to see that. So if you want to comment something live, comment on Instagram. If you want to still comment on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, and I'll try to get back to those comments immediately following the live video. So without further ado, I want to go back and just bring everyone up to speed on where the election currently stands and the information that we do know here. Sorry about that to our YouTube, to our Instagram users here. So here we go. So what are we watching for? We are still watching for Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Arizona, Georgia, still things to watch for. We are, here is a look at the current electoral map. We're going to get into this again in just a little while and explain more details of that. So keep an eye on this map and I'll explain a little more later on what we're thinking now. We are going to start our projections now. We can project that Joe Biden will win the state of Massachusetts. We can project that Joe Biden will win the state of Maryland. We can project that Joe Biden will win the state of Maine. We can project that Joe Biden will win the state of Vermont. We can project that Joe Biden will win the state of Virginia. We can project that Joe Biden will win the state of New York. We can project that Joe Biden will win the state of New Jersey. We can project that Joe Biden will win the state of Delaware. We can project that Joe Biden will win Washington, D.C. We can project that President Trump will win the state of Oklahoma. We can project that President Trump will win the state of Kentucky. We can project that President Trump will win the state of Arkansas. We can project that President Trump will win the state of Mississippi. We can project that President Trump will win the state of Louisiana. We can project that President Trump will win the state of Alabama. We can project that President Trump will win the state of Wyoming. We can project that President Trump will win the state of North Dakota. We can project that President Trump will win the state of South Dakota. We can project that President Trump will win the state of West Virginia. We can project that President Trump will win the state of Idaho. We can project that President Trump will win the state of Utah. We can project that President Trump will win the state of Nebraska. We can project that President Trump will win the state that Vice President Biden will win the state of Illinois. We can project that Vice President Biden will win the state of Minnesota. We can project that Vice President Biden will take the state of Colorado. We can project that Vice President Biden will take the state of New Mexico. We can project that Vice President Biden will take the state of Oregon. We can project that Vice President Biden will take the state of Washington. We can project that Vice President Biden will take the state of Hawaii. We can project that Vice President Biden will take the state of California. We can project that Vice President Biden will take the state of Michigan. We can project that Vice President Biden can take the state of Arizona. We can project that Vice President Biden will take the state of New Hampshire. We can project that President Trump will take the state of Florida. And we can project that President Trump will take the state of Texas. So what is left so far still, and that is too close to call? Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona. And you're probably thinking, well, wait a second. He already said Arizona on there, that he already called it. I'm going to explain in just a minute. Nevada, which is leaning in the Democratic threshold. We'll get to that also in just a minute. And the state of Alaska, which is not necessarily that the state of Alaska is too close to call. It's just a matter of the fact that there's only a little bit less than half the votes have come in yet from Alaska. They've been very slow at counting. Therefore, we do not have all the results. And as of now, President Trump has a sizable lead. So we expect that to remain in the favor for President Trump. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a moment so I can pull up to the date information that I want to show you on what we are looking at here. So I'm going to stop my sharing here for a moment, and now I'm going to get ready to share my screen again with this page here. And this is what I want. You should hopefully be seeing the right screen here at home, which is this screen, I hope. Here is what you're coming from 270towin.com. On this platform, they have already projected Joe Biden as the winner in Pennsylvania. Now, assuming he wins Pennsylvania, Joe Biden will be over the threshold for 270 and therefore making him the winner of the presidential election. Let's take a look at right now with the state of Pennsylvania, what we are seeing so far. And we are seeing Joe Biden's lead continue to increase. Right now, President Trump has Vice President Biden rather has 3,307,877 votes to President Trump's 3,295,657. So what is the difference between those two numbers? Let's do some math. I'm going to do that for you right now. And if you're on Instagram, guess what? You get to watch. Okay. Okay, well, this was an easy one to get to. Instagram users, anyone want to guess before I show it on the screen? There you go. 12,220 votes is what separates Trump and Biden right now. Biden, again, with the lead now in Pennsylvania. Let's take a look at Georgia, for example, another very highly contested state. I'm going to get out of this, and I'm going to show you the state of Georgia, which is the state that they have not called yet here on this 270towin.com. I also just want to clarify 270towin.com has lifetime election results as they come in. The media outlets out there are not calling Pennsylvania yet, as they are still verifying results as they come in. Assuming Pennsylvania holds the way it is, then we'll be able to call Pennsylvania very soon, within the next few hours, I assume. Let's take a look here at the numbers here in Georgia. You're seeing this up on your screen here for everyone. In Georgia, Vice President Biden is leading with 2,450,180 to President Trump's 2,448,629. This race is a lot closer. We are hearing unconfirmed reports that this could possibly go to a recount issued by the state because the margin is so close right now. But let's tell you exactly how many votes separate these two men. It's time to do some math. Okay, so what is the number that separates these two men in Pennsylvania? I'm sorry, in Georgia? Well, it's a close race out there. Look at this number, 1,558 votes. That's what we're showing you here on Instagram. I don't know if you can see my notebook because I have a virtual background here, but we're looking at the number that is, it's not going to come through unless I turn off the background, which I'm not doing because I need that up here. So again, that's another very, 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 very close race. However, the votes that are coming in are heavily favoring Biden, and we're going to just have to keep watching that as the numbers come in. I do have the other media outlets available to show you, and I'm going to get to that now. Let's start with CBS News, which has been a trusting source here with information getting updated on a regular basis. Pennsylvania, for example, was updated as of 24 minutes ago. Their count is not exactly where we are at with Pennsylvania. They are looking, I'm sorry, their count is a little bit behind ours because again, they are verifying the information that I just showed you. So as long as that information gets verified, it gets added to the count. And every time it has been. So there's no reason why it hasn't been. It just takes a couple of little bit of time for these media outlets to get caught up on this information. So right now, Joe Biden with 96% of the vote in has 3,300,000, according to the media outlet CBS News, has 3,307,724 votes. Again, continuing to increase. That was as of 24 minutes ago. In Georgia, as of 15 minutes ago, they did add to Biden's lead. Again, continuing to show Biden in the lead in Georgia. In Arizona, we know as of 2 hours ago, that was the last time we saw the vote numbers come in. We're awaiting more numbers to come in. And right now, again, Joe Biden's lead shrinking, but again, is still holding on to that lead. In Nevada, we just got some new numbers in as of 14 minutes ago here. And again, those numbers are now that showing Biden continuing his extending of his lead. We do expect to be able to call Nevada at any time now because, again, I think the lead is getting farther and far between that we need to hold off on this. I don't think that's actually going to happen. And that's less than amount of the students at Newton South, I think. Are we talking about here in Nevada? I guess, yes, I'm not sure. But again, that's what we're watching here very closely to see what goes on. And sorry about that to our Instagram users. I got to plug the phone back in here. Again, I can't emphasize enough on what we are looking at here. Oh, Georgia. Yes. Georgia, correct. Yes, Georgia, 1,558. Yeah, that's a very small number. But again, I can't emphasize enough to what I am seeing here that we are truly believing if we look at the state of Georgia, Biden has added into his lead. I'm going to do some research here for us while we are live. So therefore, the camera gets turned around back towards me over here. Okay, and we're just going to look up here. Georgia recount. I don't know if we have information yet on that. It is expected. We don't know for sure yet. Again, we won't know until all the numbers come in for Georgia, but the Secretary of State in Georgia is going to do a recount because of the slim margin. So again, that could still go either way. But nonetheless, if Biden does take the state of Pennsylvania, and right now his lead is only increasing in there, and it's getting too far between, as I just told you, if I looked at the numbers that I have for you right now, Biden is leading with over 12,000 votes, and that number keeps going up. And we keep seeing that, then yes, Biden will take the state of Pennsylvania and he will win the presidency. That will lead him to winning the presidency. So we definitely are well aware of that, and we're continuing to keep our eyes on that too. So that is what the Georgia recount here is. I want to, again, because this is, I think, the most accurate information that we can bring to you. But again, I can't emphasize enough that this is information, as you see here on this website, 270 road to 270.com, 270towin.com. This is information as the results come in, they immediately put it onto this site. The media outlets are verifying this information before putting it to air. So this is information before it goes live on television, as you're seeing here. And I want to just reiterate that every time we have seen these numbers get added, and right now Biden is continuing to add to his lead here in Pennsylvania. And we expect that to be the continuing trend. Why is this happening? Well, let's take a look at a map here. Let me pull up NBC News, for example, because I don't need two of these. NBC News gives me a better way of looking at this. And let's take a look directly here at Pennsylvania, which is what I wanted to do. Again, you can see here they're not counting what exact. So what did I say here? Pennsylvania, 3,307,877 now. And NBC News is calling that a little bit less at 724. So we had our numbers at 877. So those numbers are still coming in. And we again are, as we're watching, expecting it to climb. Now, why is this happening? Excuse me. We are looking at the fact here that these numbers are increasing because of these Democratic thresholds all over here. And I'm going to go through this. Chester County, which is one of the biggest counties here outside of Philadelphia, has 57%, 57.5% of the vote here for Biden. The more he increases his lead, the more his numbers go up here, and that's what's continuing to happen. Delaware County, another prime example, Biden is leading with a huge margin again, another big county, and Joe Biden is leading in that county very much so with 95% of the vote in. Montgomery County, another big Democratic county there, Joe Biden with another strong threshold. Montgomery County, that is still Montgomery County. Bucks County, another example here where Joe Biden's lead has only been increasing throughout the day so far in this area. And again, another prime example of that. Lehigh County here, for example, again, but Joe Biden extending on his lead here in Lehigh County. Northampton County, a very, very close one here, but Joe Biden is leading there right now. As we continue to get votes in, his numbers have only continued to go up, and we're watching that closely. Monroe County, another very close county there, but Biden has also taken that and has been extending his lead there. Another county here, Lackawanna County, where Joe Biden as well is continuing to extend on his lead. And then we go west out here to Center County, where Joe Biden is also extending on his lead here with 96% of the vote in. And then out here to the very far west into Allegheny County, Biden is leading here too with 58% of the vote in, roughly almost 59%, and has a very strong lead over President Trump. In Erie, Pennsylvania, this is another close race over lead over here, but right now Joe Biden is leading this and is continuing again to add on to his votes here in Erie County, Pennsylvania. With 49.6% of the vote, he has 66,966 votes to 65,647. I'm going to do some math again for you right now to show you just specifically with that county what the difference here is in the numbers. So let's take a look and let's do some math. Excuse me. Okay, so what separates them in this county? This is even smaller than Georgia. We are looking at a 1,000, and I'm going to turn my camera on because for some odd reason that this thing is weird that it reverberates what we're looking at here. So Instagram users, you're seeing this first here. 1,319 votes separate Trump and Biden in Erie County, Pennsylvania. Again, another area where we're watching very, 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 very closely. But right now, as the votes come in, they are heavily favored towards Biden. And that's the continuing trend that we're seeing here and continuing to watch this trend. And again, as I have said, if Biden takes the state of Pennsylvania, he will win the presidency without a doubt. There's no question there, to say the least. And I'm going to say done here. Okay, good. So at least this time my live appears to be working the proper way that I had expected it. To say the least. Okay. I'm released relief on that because I knew I think we were having some technicalities with that earlier. So I am glad to see that. I want to just quickly stop sharing for a moment, and I'm just going to go through our Facebook, our Twitter, and our YouTube accounts because I want to make sure if anyone does have feedback on any of those accounts that I'm able to see them. So bear with me for just a moment. I'm going to put the camera back towards me while I do this. And I'm seeing here that, okay, no one on Facebook yet has any comments. Let's go to Twitter. And let's take a look at our, I just lost what I was doing. Let's go back here to Twitter. And I do not see any feedback here coming in from Nope. Okay. And then we're just going to switch over to YouTube as well. One more time here. Thank you for bearing with me. Again, this is just because I don't have access to this data. And I just want to make sure that if anyone has questions that they're seeing, that they're getting their answers. And I just went on to the wrong thing here. Hold on a moment. Okay. I'm going to go into, oh, there is a comment, I'm being told. Okay. All right, let's go over here. Hold on a moment. I'm gonna see if I can get into the video here. Let's go here to the live stream right now. Okay, I want to see the link. And I believe we have a comment. No, we don't have a comment. I thought we did have a comment, so we do not have a comment. All right, so I'm not sure where that comment actually came from. I just want to check one other systematic way here on a back end. Manage and just see where that looked like we had a comment. I don't know what that was. Let me. Okay. Obviously these are spam comments that will be removed that we are seeing here come through. And I am going to delete these, remove these comments because these are not obviously appropriate comments that we want to see here. So again, if I do have the right to do that, if I see stuff like that come through, they will be removed from from our page here on any of the accounts. So I do make that known here. Okay, back to our results times coming in with results here. I'm going to keep this open so I can see any feedback that comes through. I want to go back here and go over here just so I can watch this if there is any. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so again, as I'm going to go back and sharing my screen here now, and let's take a look here with CBS News. That's what one of our biggest trustworthy sources here that I really like to use, and I'm showing that to you live here. Their last information now, as of 6 minutes ago, they're showing Biden's lead continuing to increase here in Pennsylvania. He's now up to 3,310,000. What was the number I had on here? So they're even actually, the number is even higher now than it was when I just did my math for you a minute ago from what I just told you. So Biden is now up 3,310,256. I think we're coming close into a fact that we can probably make a projection with Pennsylvania soon in the direction that it is going. If we see, as we are seeing it go in this continuous direction. As of 11 minutes ago, we now see Biden still with the 2,450,000 votes, 193 in Georgia. Again, that number also on the rise in Arizona. We still do not have any new results as of 2 hours ago was the last time we got results in. So we do not have that at the moment. And here in Nevada, again, the last time we got those results in was as of 26 minutes ago. Again, we're continuing to monitor all of these results that we're watching right now. And again, let's go to the Associated Press to see what they're calling for right now, because I think that that is also important. And I don't have that up right now, and that is not what I want to do. Sorry, 1 second, folks. Okay, and I'm just bringing this up so you can see the Associated Press's map and what they're looking at here. We also haven't looked at North Carolina in a long time. I want to bring North Carolina back here into this. North Carolina is another very close race, but at the moment, President Trump continues to maintain a steady lead there. I want to just look at North Carolina on CBS News because we haven't, when was the last time? So we have not gotten any new votes from North Carolina since November 5th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So we are still waiting on new results from North Carolina. That's been kind of on hold. where I will try to find out more information on that, but that's been put on hold since November 5th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So since yesterday at 24 hours ago, roughly about was the last time we got new votes here in Pennsylvania. Again, 9 minutes ago, you can see here that we have those votes that just came in. And again, if I'm to pull up here our actual live count that we do go with, and this is what I am using, and now it appears that CBS News has verified that information. 310-256 3104. Okay, actually, it's even a little bit more now. And Biden continuing to extend that lead here in Pennsylvania. I can understand why they have called the state of why road to 270 to win.com has called the states of Pennsylvania for Biden because of that. So again, we're just waiting ever so patiently to see this. Again, as it is known, the Associated Press and Fox News both called the state of Arizona for Joe Biden. That was called on Wednesday, I believe. So that has been called for a long time already. I am going to continue to watch all of this and continue to check all of this very closely and watch what we do know and continue to. This is what we know as of at the moment. We are still very closely watching all of these results as they come in. And again, I want to bring in jump on to Pennsylvania, where this is the interesting thing here. Look at the Associated Press. They are reporting 3,308,042 votes. And CBS News, I'm going to bring this next to me here. Pennsylvania, CBS News is reporting more. So every news outlet is verifying, every media outlet out there is verifying these results before they actually put them on. Therefore, that is what we know. I'm going to just bring in ABC News here as well for a moment to see what they're doing. And this is, so you're seeing me do this in real time and typing. And again, to see what they're projecting at the moment on numbers. And we're going to show you the full results that they have here right now too. And then let's see here. We'll take a look here. Again, they're saying 3,310,256. I think that's what we had over here. And I think that's also what CBS News. Yep. So CBS News has the same number. It's really interesting to see this because now we're looking here at the Associated Press's numbers. And as if I'm to look at this, they have not actually verified those numbers yet. They're not putting them out yet. Usually they're one of the first. So it's kind of an interesting fact here. Let's also take a look here at NBC News right now, which also has those numbers here. As you can see, the 3,310,000. So again, the numbers that of votes remaining is now 307,150. But of those votes, they're primarily Democratic votes, which is why we're seeing Joe Biden's lead continue to extend here in Pennsylvania. As I continue to show you this here, 53% of the vote there in Dauphin County, another Democratic threshold there. I mean, look at the difference here. Look at that county versus that. And some of these other counties you may see switch too. I mean, it's very hugely possible as the race does get tighter and tighter here across the state. I'm just looking to see if there's any other areas that could possibly switch. Chester County, again, I showed you this earlier. Pittsburgh County, let's look at Erie, Pennsylvania again right now. And you can see the 49, that number has gone up again here. Biden, again, increasing his lead in more now in Erie, Pennsylvania than it was before. I want to go to the CBS News, which does not give us access for some bizarre reason, does not give us actually access. I want to actually talk about the Senate right now too. As it is known, some of you may or will be aware that the Democrat Mark Kelly we can project that he has won the state of Arizona, defeating Republican Martha McSally. What does this do for the Senate majority right now? Well, the majority right now, both Republicans and Democrats have 48 members in the Senate at the moment. We still have a couple of uncalled races at the moment. We have the state of Alaska, which still has some very slow results coming in with 56% of the results in. And Republican Dan Sullivan is leading Republican Al Gross, the Democrat, by a very large margin. So we expect the Republican to take that seat in Alaska. In Georgia, we're pretty much well aware that this seat is going to go to a runoff, as both candidates neither have reached the 50% mark. That'll likely go to a runoff. the other Senate seat here is likely going to go to the Democrat here. It looks like in Georgia. So both Senate seats appear. That seat looks like it's going to go to the Democrat here in Georgia, as far as what I can see here. Again, no projection there. We can project that obviously what we're seeing here: Michigan, the Democrat won; Minnesota, the Democrat won; New Hampshire, Jeanne Shaheen, Democrat won. In North Carolina, it is still too close to call. The Republican is just leading by a very slim margin. Let me tell you exactly how many votes are leaning in between. This could lead to a change in the majority here with these votes. Ooh, sorry, Instagram. And let me show you oh my God, sorry, Instagram. Let me show you how many votes separate these two men in the Senate race here in North Carolina. It's time to do some math. Okay, so what separates these two men here in the state of North Carolina with, again, 94% of the vote in? Oops, sorry about that to our Instagram users. This is for the Senate race here between Republican Thom Tillis, who is ahead by 2,640,381 votes, to Cal Cunningham, the Democrats, 2,543,692. And you can see here, my scribble is 96,689 votes is what separates them. That is a significant margin. Usually you wouldn't, but again, we're still waiting to see what happens with this race right now. It appears to be going in the direction of Thom Tillis, the Republican, and who is also the incumbent in that seat. So we'll just have to continue watching that very, very closely. We know, obviously, Lindsey Graham won his seat here in a very contested seat race in South Carolina, in a very close race there with 99% of the vote in. He did retain his seat. We also know that in where is Kentucky? I want to bring up that for a second. In Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, retained his seat against challenger Amy McGrath. Again, not that much of a close race, but that is what we see there. And in Iowa, Joni Ernest retained her seat against another very tough opponent that came very close there, was Teresa Greenfield, the Democrat. Again, though, Joni Ernest keeping her seat in the Senate chamber there. So that is another big number there. Another actually close race there with 99% of the vote in is the race in Kansas. I actually didn't realize this myself. The race in Kansas has Roger Marshall, the Republican in Kansas, barely defeating Barbara Boiler, in the Senate race in Kansas. That race came down to a very close margin, but again, or not hugely close margin, but still close enough that that still looks close enough. Again, as we look at this here, these other races here, I mean, were mostly self-explanatory. I'm not entirely sure here. The other Georgia race as of 21 minutes ago, I don't know if both of these are considered toss-ups, but there's not been an announcement yet on the other Senate seat here in Georgia as well. So we'll watch that as well. Let's go back to the presidential race here and see what numbers we are getting at the race to 270. And again, we're looking at numbers now coming in still as 18 minutes ago, so nothing new there. As of 22 minutes ago, we still have nothing new to report there. Nothing new to report there. 2 hours ago from Arizona, nothing new there. And again, 37 minutes ago. So we have no new numbers at the moment. We're going to keep tracking all of these numbers. So as soon as we have new numbers again, we will, of course, come back on here live. But right now, we're going to keep watching. The numbers continue to come in. As soon as we can project an action, we can a official projection. I'm making the unofficial projection that Biden will take the state of Pennsylvania, looking at the way these numbers are going right now. But again, we're going to keep watching this very closely. So as usual, keep it tuned to Cultural Connections. We will have all of the up-to-date information that you need on this election. Stay with us. We will, of course, bring you up-to-date information. And as soon as we will have all of the up-to-date information that you need on this election. Hold on, I got to stop my sharing here because there's an audio thing on here. Okay, sorry about that. We'll reshare my screen again and we'll get ready to go to the outro. And again, thank you everybody for watching. We will have an update here for you in we'll do another update around 2:30, 3 o'clock with our next update here on Cultural Connections. My name is Brian Ives, and I am the producer of the Cultural Connections podcast. Stay tuned for updates.
This is a special edition of the Cultural Connections podcast, the 2020 election. Join us this evening as we digest the election results, analyze the data, and make bold predictions. This is the Cultural Connections podcast, 2020 election edition.